So now we can look at the Queen and King, otherwise known as the Empress and Emperor. The 3 and the 4. So let's talk about the numerology first. The 3 represents creation. It's creation, it's birth. And that's what you pretty much have with the Empress in all decks. For reading purposes, the Empress and the Emperor pretty much the same as the Rider-Waite-Smith or the traditional tarot that you're used to. We do have a couple of major differences between those, however, and one of which is the scepter over here is sort of a different color than the scepter on the King or the Emperor. By the way, the number 4 represents stability or home aspect. You'll see that within most of the Rider-Waite-Smith. You'll see like the 4 of Wands and that home feel or that stable feel. So we have the stability of the King along with the birth of the creationism of the Queen. So you sort of have that matching. But again, the colors matching, talking about the scepter being the power or the source of power. And the Queen's matches sort of her thoughts or matches the divine wisdom that are coming out from the Queen and the King as well, but they're different. So there's always going to be a bit of a difference, right, as to how the Queen would implement power versus how the King would implement power as well, or the differences in the decision, the masculine and the feminine basic differences are sort of represented here by this particular, by these particular differences within the scope of that power. And within the Queen, we also have the blue. Many books talk about those being wings. So the blue rise above on the the chair. The 2 sections that are rising above talk about the blue wings or the guided or the divine guided wings. So her decisions are divinely guided, or she's able to rise above or rise up with the wings or with that wing shape. And you'll see that in most of the books talk about that as well. So you'll notice that her crown also has 12 little points, and the 12 points obviously pointing to the 12 houses or sort of that astrological influence as well. And the King has 6, which points to various things as well. So you'll also notice, obviously, that they have matching crests, and the crests are a bit different. So let's look at the differences within the crest. The first is that the Queen holds the crest to her heart, or holds the crest, on her person, and it's more of a personable thing. So her aspects or her relationship with people, her relationship with things, is going to be more personable or more gentle or more feminine and, type thing. And the King has his laying here. It's going to be a bit less personal or a bit more action-oriented. Again, the male-female variance between the two aspects. So there, his pants or leggings or whatever are blue, indicating again that his steps are guided, his feet are guided, his legs are guided, and hers as well. The bottom of her dress is blue as well, so it's the same thing. They're both guided, and they're both sort of looking at a better future as far as what they bring, or they don't just make random decisions. This is a very knowledgeable, a very firm and knowledgeable type of approach. So his shoes are red as well, indicating that he's very action-oriented. You have that fire influence as well, just sort of creeping in there. So he's action-oriented. He's going to be more action-oriented. He's going to go out and do the fiery type things, the masculine type things as well. So you see that within his shoes. His crest is also surrounded a little bit by the red, again indicating that fiery aspect. So you have the divine heart or the divine soul of the red in the center next to their heart, or the red in the center of both of their outfits. So that is going to be an important aspect to sort of look to as well with that. So there's a lot of books talk about this little spot right beneath her hand and what that is. And in a lot of decks, that's white. And they talk about that being a seed, or, alluding to her pregnancy. And you'll have her pregnancy being a prominent topic within almost every tarot deck. The Empress is usually, well, not usually, but the Empress is a lot of times pregnant or, giving birth. And that's sort of representing that 3, or that creation and that birth and that creationism that we have from the 3 and from this particular card. So it's pretty easy to sort of translate that over. But again, it's green right here, sort of alluding to growth. The growth of the seed or things like that. So look for stuff like that as well when you look for the symbolism. Now obviously their crests, eagles, are pointed toward each other, and they're sort of looking toward each other as well. One thing you'll notice about the king is he's not really seated. He's not seated well, so he's sort of on the edge of that chair. Sort of indicates that he's ready to get up. He's ready to get up. He's ready to take action. Going to be that fiery element that he's known for, right? Obviously, that he's going to be known for, the emperor. And he's going to have that Aries feel as he sort of launches out and gets things done. He's also more determined. He's already sort of facing the direction that he's about to head out to. He sort of looks like he's already gotten up out of the chair, and he's just ready to go, ready to just go in that action. You also see that the scepter is completely vertical, meaning he's a bit more serious, and his approach is going to be a bit more serious and more stern than her scepter, which is sort of tilted, a little bit of an angle, sort of more relaxed, more open, more possibly forgiving, or more giving in general. So her approach is obviously going to be a bit different than his approach. Again, sort of pointing to that masculine and the feminine aspect as well. So she is sort of looking in that direction, but not completely turning her head. She's just sort of moving her eyes, sort of again indicating that she's comfortable where she's at. She's not ready to get up and just launch into something. This could be something where she wants to think it over. And you'll see that a lot in the theme with the TDM, that a lot of the female aspect is mulling it over and thinking things over and making careful planning before we act, versus some of the males that just go and act, and they're ready to act all the time. So, but again, we do have that Aries feel for the 4 and the Emperor as well. So to look at the Empress and Emperor. So when we go and just throw this in a reading, here's what we're sort of looking at. So maybe we're starting on that journey, or we're moving towards that journey, sort of being chased out almost with the Fool type feel for the card, and sort of takes a bit of leadership, or a bit of that Aries feel as we come into this journey. It's going to take some leadership to get to where we want to go, to get to that success point. One of the aspects here is going to be just how much effort is going to be involved, or just how much leadership is going to be involved as well. So if this sort of creeps into a journey, or creeps into this job reading, to where how are things going to go with the new job? What type of things am I going to run into naturally with the new job? It looks like that you're going to have to either deal with leadership, or you're going to have to sort of take charge on some projects, right? You have some projects that may be challenging. Maybe as you sort of approach in, you're going to have to deal with these, and part of that is going to be sort of taking charge and getting things done at the new job, and trying to figure things out instead of waiting for people. Sort of take that lead, or sort of take the ownership with a lot of different things. Be ready to get the feet moving with that fiery feel, and to get things done and to get things started. Definitely not time to just sit around. And it's more of a time to where we want to launch forward and show ourselves. Or obviously every new job we prove ourselves all the time, but this could be an instance where you have to be a bit more in the leadership position. Even if you're not obviously leadership and you're walking in as a non-leader, you're going to have to take charge and get some things done that need to get done in order for the job to be successful, or in order for people to notice you and sort of move into those positions. And then we can sort of use the creationism or the birth aspect of the 3 moving into the 1, which is the instigation or the launch of something, sort of with a, with the Mercury feel of the Magician as well. So it could have the birth of a different type of job opportunity to where you're going to be able to use your skills or use your mastery of particular skills and whatnot in order to sort of change things or instigate change at a job. So if this was a job reading, the first thing obviously you want to point to is the birth or the 3 that we're sort of coming in here. And you do have the ability to get more sort of leaning toward the ability to get the job because of the 3. Once you sort of move in, you're going to have a mastery level. This is going to be something to where you're going to be comfortable in that space because it's a 1. The Magician, you're comfortable in that space. He's not holding the baton tightly. He's holding it loosely. He's got that loose feel or that relaxed feel that sort of comes with this, right? And this is going to be a situation where you're going to do the 3 and you're going to say, if you're looking for that job, the 3 really indicates that you're going to give, not literally give birth to the job, but I mean, you're going to have a very, very good chance at getting the job because of that 3, But you're going to go in and have a good mastery of what they want you to do. A lot of times when you get a new job, you'll sort of bump into a situation to where it's exactly what you've done before. So at the previous job you did this, and at the new job you do the same thing. So you can sort of drop in. It's what they call drop-in replacement, to where you just immediately just go in and you're working and you're doing the exact same thing. There is some obviously change coming. We have the Tower, so there's some change. There's some alterations coming within the aspect of that new job, but it looks like as far as getting it, the 3 sort of gives that birth feel, or gives, the wings as well sort of come into play here. And we have that winged spirit where you can rise above and you can sort of be above many of the other candidates as well. And then obviously we have the astrology associations, and then the crown matching the scepter, meaning that you're going to be able to use your brain in order to make the job better, or to make things better, maybe improve some processes at the job, or a lot of different things that you could do here. So it looks pretty positive as far as the job reading is concerned with this. So that's sort of just a brief look at the Empress and Emperor. And these are some great cards. Once you start reading with the TDM, you get really, really comfortable with where it goes and how it sort of flows together. And a lot of things are going to sort of clear up with this. But the good news is, if you already sort of know the Empress and the Emperor in tarot, you can sort of move this through into here. So, pretty much the same as far as meanings go, and a lot of different symbology though, which is good. A lot of different symbology that you can sort of lean on. So you could have maybe a bit of more strict leadership, with the scepter being perfectly vertical. You could have a bit more strict leadership. It could be a bit more fiery leadership as well. You could have a bit more action-oriented Emperor with the red shoes, and sort of the guided path with the blue, a divinely guided path with the blue as well. So a lot of different symbolism and a lot of different good things here that you can sort of rely on and use within your readings. So break out the TDM and try it out.